No audio. Here we go. Yeah, I guess I do have audio. Okay. Hi, this is Joel Persinger. I'm the gun guy. I'm hoping that you can hear me, and I apologize for not notifying you about these live streams. I'm actually trying to find a particular day of the week that'll work where I can just do a live stream once a week for you and keep you up to date on things. Let me check and make sure that somebody somewhere is actually hearing this and that you can hear me okay. So if you can hear me, please let me know in the comments that we can hear. Okay, good. Here's what I want to talk about very, very briefly. Thank you for letting me know. My schedule today is incredibly packed. I was hoping to have an interview for you today with Rick Travis from CRPA. Rick is an outstanding guy, and they work really hard over there. He had planned on being on the show today, and as it turned out, he got pulled away into some other things and just couldn't do it. There's a lot going on in California right now. Because we're coming up on the July 1st ammo thing, I wanted to let you know about a few things. First of all, CRPA and the National Rifle Association did an outstanding webinar the other day that really clarified a lot of things with regard to what's going to happen on July 1st. So I urge you to watch that webinar. It's kind of plotting and dull because it's legalese stuff, but it will help you a lot. I'm including a link to that webinar in the description of this live stream, so you'll find it there. I encourage you to go look at it. I'm going to hit the high points for you that are common questions. I did take a lot of notes, but unfortunately I can't find them. I put them away somewhere, but from memory I've written down a few things. That, and I've had some conversations with some folks that have let me know about some gun confiscations and that kind of stuff that have happened and things that are going on with the California Department of Justice. And I have a little advice for you where that's concerned too. Lastly, there is in fact, let me show it to you because we set it up here so I could show it to you. Hang on one second. We'll get that. And forgive me, I'm all by myself today playing technical guy and producer and everything. Here you go. All right, so what you should be seeing there is the chart that CRPA has put out, which is sort of a quick reference guide for you to be able to figure out what you can and can't do as far as the purchase of ammunition is concerned. Like I said, I'm going to go over some highlights for you here in just a second, but this is going to give you some highlights. Now, I could not, while I could find the webinar link on the CRPA website, I could not find the link to this document on the CRPA website. So I've gone ahead and posted it on the GunGuy.tv website, and I've included a link to that. As soon as I can locate it on CRPA's website, I'll go ahead and change that link. But in the meantime, you can find this on the GunGuy.tv website. The link is in the description. Hopefully, that will give you some information and keep you a little bit armed, and as Sam Paredes would say, armed and informed. All right, now as far as the basics here, there are several things that I wanted to get answers to. One, I had heard the whole permit required to buy ammunition thing that actually is explained in detail in the webinar, but apparently it was part of one of the 3 laws that were passed that combined to cause us to be in this situation, and it was removed by one of those laws, and so there is no permit that you have to get in order to purchase ammunition in the state of California. So that rumor's going around. I had heard it myself, and quite frankly, I believed it was true, but it is not. You do not need a permit to purchase ammunition. This is a really big deal. This is what I had been told at the beginning. So I went out and got a California certificate of eligibility, and I got a Curio and Relic FFL license because I had been told by a couple of retailers that if I had the combination of a California certificate of eligibility and a federal FFL license, the Curio and Relic collector's license, that with the combination of those 2 documents, as long as they're current and in force, I can order ammunition from an out-of-state vendor and have them mail it directly to me. And it turns out that is exactly true according to the webinar that CRPA and NRA put on. So if you have a CNR FFL, what you need now is a certificate of eligibility from the state of California. It does require a live scan, and it's kind of a pain. But if you get that, then you can have ammunition shipped directly to you. Now, there may be retailers who, by policy, have decided not to ship to California at all, and that is what it is. There's nothing anybody can do about that, but there will be some who will. Now, the other thing that I thought was really, really key, because I'm in Yuma all the time to review guns for you. As a matter of fact, I got to go out there and review one that Arms Corps Rock Island Armory just sent me, a bullpup shotgun to review for you, which is going to be really cool. I'm going to go out and do that on Monday. But while I'm out there, because I have the California COE and the CNR FFL, apparently it is also legal. I'm going to verify this before I do it, but it is also legal then for me to purchase ammunition out of state and bring it into the state because it would be legal for me to have it shipped to my house. Now, that's my understanding from the webinar. I watch the webinar yourself and make sure of that. I'm going to go back and watch it again and make sure that that understanding is accurate. But that is my understanding from the webinar, that the magic pill here is the combination of the CNR FFL and the California Certificate of Eligibility. And they both have to be current. Now, I think the CNR, you have to renew every 3 years. It's very inexpensive. The COE is kind of a pain. That has to be renewed every year, and it does require a live scan, so it's a little pricey. All right, the other question was the real ID requirement that the state is now trying to shove through, which is you have to have a real ID in order to buy ammo. Well, it's not. As I understand it, first of all, that has not been approved. That is still in flux. It hasn't been completely approved yet, so that is not currently a requirement. However, if and when it becomes one, and CRPA and NRA are unfortunately of the opinion that it's probably going to be approved by the Office of Administrative Law, in which case it will, that it is an either-or situation. If you have a real ID, which is the driver's license that does not say, I don't have one. I have an older driver's license. I got to renew mine next year. So mine apparently is fine. That's the other thing that came up is if you have an old driver's license and you're getting ready to renew and you haven't yet gotten one that says not for federal ID or whatever, or not a federal ID, then you're still able to use your old one until you renew it. When you renew it, if you get a real ID, that's all you need. If you don't have a real ID, then what they will require of you is some additional proof that you're in the country legally, like a birth certificate or a passport if you have one, or passport wallet card. I have a passport and passport wallet card. So even if I don't have a real ID, I can use that apparently to buy ammunition. So if you want to just use your passport because you have one, then you don't have to worry about the real ID. I think there are some other requirements with regard to the real ID, though, or requirements for it, but I don't know what they all are. That thing confuses the tar out of me. All right, let's see. There is apparently no way for an out-of-state person visiting the state of California to purchase ammunition in California unless they have a California Certificate of Eligibility. And I told you about the quick reference chart. All right, there's the highlights that I've got. Let me look at comments. I'm sure there are questions or whatever. So let me see if I can answer them. I'll look through them real quick. If I cannot answer them, I'm going to move on to the next thing because unfortunately, I'm really short of time, and I also don't want to waste your time. So I hope you're having a good day. Let's see. How about the ammo laws? That's what I just talked about. Let's see. We can hear you. I'm grateful for that. Good morning. Thank you. Good morning to you, too. Let's see. I'll scroll through the rest here. I don't have any help today. It's me, and me. Sorry about that. Yeah, okay, I know. This state does suck. You're right. All right. Yes, I'm not going anywhere. I've got a couple people. Somebody sent me a note, not in the comments here, asking me if I was moving. I guess they're concerned because I know that William at the Daily Shooter was forced to move. No, my wife and I are not going anywhere as far as I'm aware. We're doing very well with our little business, so we have no financial reason to move. We're going to stay here and fight in California. Wondering about the ammo laws. Let's see. What is this about Joel has recovered from his stroke? I never had a stroke. I had Bell's palsy, so it's a totally different thing. I never had a stroke. I'm actually very, very healthy. I just had a checkup the other day, and I've had a checkup from the neck up probably. I don't know, but I had a checkup the other day. I'm very healthy. I need to lose a little weight, which I'm working on, and I'm back in the gym trying to stay healthy. But no, I've never had a stroke. I had Bell's palsy. Totally different thing. All right, let's see. I think New Jersey is worse. Probably so. I don't see any other questions here. I've scrolled down to the end here. Federal limits apply. That's what it's supposed to say. I get it. Okay. All right. Now, that covers everything that is the highlights of the ammo restriction stuff. Here's the deal. What a pirate's favorite letter? What's a pirate favorite letter? They have several letters in the pirate alphabet. Why people want to do this, I don't know. But since you do, I will very quickly. And they are A, Oi, R. And, of course, their favorite letter is C. There you are. I did that for you. Don't ask me why. Okay, now, as far as the DOJ confiscations are concerned, here's the deal. From what I understand, this is happening fairly frequently. You would hope it wouldn't be happening, but apparently it is. And that is that folks with a gun that is not legal, or maybe not quite legal, maybe they've got an AR that it's got some features on it that California doesn't like, and they go to the range and they feel like, well, I'm safe because I'm at the range. I'm surrounded by gun people, right? So they go to a public range and they shoot. Now, I would guess that if you go to a public range and you just are shooting, probably nobody's going to notice or care. But they go to the public range and they act like a fool and they irritate the people next to them by spraying rounds as fast as they can or shooting as fast as they can and irritating people and being obnoxious. And then what happens is somebody at the range takes a picture of them, goes outside, watches them, gets in their car, takes a picture of their car with the license plate, and the California Department of Justice gets an anonymous tip about this person shooting at the range with a gun that may be illegal. And the next thing you know, because they can, and frankly, I think they're required to follow up on these things, they're knocking on the guy's door saying, hey, we understand you have this gun in this picture. Can we look at that? So my understanding is this is happening a lot throughout the state of California. So I want to make sure that you're, as much as you can, you are aware of the fact that if you take a firearm into public where everyone can see it, even at a range, and that gun is not legal in the state of California, there is a very strong likelihood that someone is going to take a picture of you, take a picture of your license plate, and report you to the California Department of Justice. So I have a couple suggestions. One, here's some different ways to deal with that. Make the gun legal. That's one way to do it. So if you got an AR, it's got a lot of features on it, make it featureless. Solves the problem. I know you don't like it. I don't like it either, but it is what it is. Or if you're going to maintain a gun that has features on it, and you want to do that, when you store it in your house, separate the upper from the lower and store it that way. Then it's not a completed firearm. There's nothing illegal about it. And if you want to go fire it, you want to go enjoy it, then my suggestion is drive it over to Nevada or drive it over to Arizona. Take it out of state, take it apart the way it is, take it out of state, and then put it together when you get there, and then enjoy shooting all you want and blasting rounds all over the place. That's what my son and I do. We go out, take our rifles separated like that. We go out to Yuma, we go to the Adair Range, and we shoot all we want. Or we go over to Spriggs, and we shoot all we want. And when we come back into California, we take them apart again, or we make them California legal again, and then we come back into the state. Alternatively, and I would say this is probably not the best idea, but if you're determined to shoot and use those guns in California, at least go out in the boonies where you can shoot out in the boonies where nobody's liable to see you do it and narc on you. Okay, but I want you to be aware of the fact that this is happening. People are getting reported because they're shooting with firearms that are not legal in the state of California at public ranges. So if that's you and you've been doing it, I want to urge you to stop. And if you're thinking about doing it, I would strongly suggest that you don't. Does that suck? Yes. I mean, I'm not here to promote the thing. I'm just telling you, look, I'm not here to tell you to break the law, but I'm certainly here to tell you how not to get caught by being stupid or foolish or whatever. So please don't do that. All right, let me check one more time for questions, and if I don't have any, then I'll have to move on here briefly. Okay. People will report you to they will absolutely report you. You bet. It happens. So, and it's happened. I just heard about one the other day where somebody got tagged that way because they were doing stupid stuff at the range and they were irritating people and being obnoxious. And the next thing you know, any limitations on the quantity of ammo you can buy or own? Absolutely. Okay, there's a couple things. I'm sorry, I forgot to write those down. Absolutely not. There is no limitation on how much ammunition you can buy. The way it works, as I understand it, is if you go in and you do the background check, there's apparently a couple different levels of background checks. You're going to want to watch the webinar or refer to the chart. Depends on what you do. But if you go in there and you've purchased a gun before and you're in the automated firearms system, or you have a certificate of eligibility or whatever, you're going to pay $1 for every time you buy ammo. You go in and you basically the retailer is going to ask you which kind of background check do you want to take, because they can't decide for you, and the DOJ cannot require you to take one over the other. There's 2 or 3 different versions. One's really cheap. It's $1. And if you say, I want to take the one that's $1, then what they're going to do is they're going to run the background check before you select the ammunition that you want. And when you come back, which DOJ says it's supposed to take 2 or 3 minutes, I'll believe that when I see it. Just about everything they do takes a long, long time. But hopefully it'll be quick. But when it comes back showing, yes, you can purchase the ammunition, then you tell the retailer, I would like X number of rounds of this, that, and the other thing. You can buy you can buy a box, you can buy 10,000 rounds, and you can buy whatever type of ammunition you wish to buy. It's as long as it's legal in the state of California, it doesn't matter. So the quantity of ammunition is not regulated at all. You can own as much ammunition as you want, and you can purchase as much ammunition as you want. You just have to go through the background check thing to do it, and it costs $1 every time you go and you buy ammunition. Now, if you have no records in the California system at all, then you have to go through the full background check, and I think that's $19. But once you've done it, you're now in the system, so you won't have to do the $19 thing again. It'll cost you $1 each time. That's my understanding. All right, the other thing is, I don't like the idea that they're keeping track of what ammo I buy, but to some degree that's what they're going to be doing, because all that stuff's got to be entered into a system. But nevertheless, I was concerned that if you did not own a gun in a particular caliber that California knew about. Let's say, for example, I only have 1 gun or 2 guns or 3 guns that are in the automated firearm system because years ago I inherited guns or I bought guns so far long ago that nobody knows because they weren't registered at the time. There was no record kept by California. It wasn't required. And I have these guns. Well, there's no law that says I have to register them in the state of California, so the DOJ doesn't know I have them. And maybe they're in a caliber that's different from the other guns I own. If I want to buy ammunition for the guns I own that I have that they don't know about, are they going to keep me from buying that ammunition because I don't have a gun in that caliber? The answer is no. They don't even know what ammunition you're buying because you don't select the ammunition until after you've completed the background check. The background check is done first, and then you tell a retailer what you want to buy, and they sell it to you. So that's a very key piece of information. I'm glad you asked that question. I almost forgot. So let me scroll through and see if there are any more, because you'll jog my memory. And then I do encourage you to go through the webinar. Forgive me for kind of pausing here for a second. I apologize. I wanted to get this done for you because we're running so close. I'm very grateful, by the way. I know NRA is going through a lot. And it's a zoo. I have said many times that I support NRA. I still do. I know I'm going to make some of you mad doing that. But nevertheless, I am a life member of NRA. I have been forever. And I do support NRA. I'm not a fan of Wayne LaPierre. I would like him to resign or retire and go away. But it saddens me to see them go through this, but I will say I was very grateful for the fact that they are spending a lot of money in California right now, and it was in large part because of them with CRPA that webinar was held, so I'm grateful for that. Yuck, somebody typed. Okay, so when people finally stand up and say, okay, that's okay, I don't see... I know somebody's coming at you. I don't know what that is. I don't see any other questions. Somebody asked about the COE and FFL. I already talked about that. Yes, I agree. Wayne needs to go, and I do agree with that, and I've said that about 50 million times, so there you are. All right, that's all the news that I have for you today. I don't have any others. I apologize for no notice on the live stream. I am going to try to pick a day each week that makes sense for me and my schedule and for everyone else to have a live stream each week. It may take me a few weeks to figure that out. And then we'll do a short live stream like this where I can just give you updates on what I'm finding. And then, obviously, we'll continue doing interviews with folks like Sam Paredes and Rick Travis and Dan O'Kelly and some other folks who want to come on the channel as well and talk about what's going on in California, but also in other states. Right now, for example, in Washington, there's a big deal in Washington right now with I-1639 or whatever it is. I can't remember the number. That really needs support. My issue is people keep asking me to send money toward it, and I would, except that I'm I got my hands full in California, and I'm focusing my money and time here. But if you're in that area or you want to contribute to help fight the Bloomberg up in Washington, then look for more information on that. In fact, frankly, when I get done with this, I'll go find a link to whatever I can find with regard to information to that, and I'll put it in the description of this live stream. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful week. I really do appreciate everything that you do. Without you, I don't know how in the world we would possibly save our Second Amendment. But with you, I know we can do it. Have a wonderful week again, and I appreciate you very much. Wherever you go, whatever you do, please be safe.